Now recently, one of Jimmy, aka Nino's friends named E-kon, uploaded a video on Nino's channel about how he believes that Digibro is rather hypocritical, even though most of the video isn't actually criticizing Digibro, although that's the point. I have quite a few problems with the arguments E-kon made, as well as how they are presented, which is to say, they aren't too well thought out. One of his major arguments is that more individuals should quote-unquote trick viewers into watching something thoughtful. But here's the thing, this is certainly no new idea. Tons of anime YouTubers have made good videos and utilized this method. I've used it myself. The way he's discussing things is as if this is some novel concept that no one has bothered to think about before. The fact that he outright mentions Jimmy's video as an example of this only further proves my point. Not to mention, Digibro has brought up multiple times in his own videos how to game the YouTube algorithm. Now, I wouldn't have minded if he had just brought the idea to people's attention who may have not thought of it. I'm sure that the conclusions I've come to in my own videos have been made before. My problem is the way he presents this idea. Firstly, he talks down to his audience without any sense of respect for the people taking time out of their lives to listen to what he has to say. He assumes that his audience is a bunch of quote-unquote crunchy core anime normies who will scrounge up the bottom of the barrel in terms of anime content. But you have to understand, it's not that simple. As I've mentioned before in my There Aren't Many Good Anime YouTubers video, people can like a diverse amount of content. Maybe those same Misty Cronexia viewers who enjoy that type of content could just as easily get into more thoughtful content without clickbait. Cronexia has over 1 million subscribers. I'm sure that some of those subscribers cross over into other, less marketable channels. And just because they like Cronexia's videos doesn't automatically make them morons who don't know any better. Maybe they just find his videos entertaining, God forbid. Doesn't mean you have to like them, I don't care much for Cronexia's videos, but it's not worth assuming the worst of his audience, especially since it's so big that you can't really put that many people into one singular group other than people who are subbed to Misty Cronexia. Also, being cultured does not entirely rest on knowing a random Julius Caesar reference. That'd be like me saying, "Oh, do you recognize I'm playing Otogizoushi Opening 2? No? Well then you're not a real anime fan." It's an unbelievably vapid argument. Not to mention, he tries to make people feel guilty for liking YouTube content, saying stuff like, "It's your fault, you did this," which is beyond silly. You shouldn't feel guilty for liking these rather harmless and inoffensive YouTube videos. There's no reason that both content types can't successfully coexist on this one platform. Secondly, I also dislike the way he treats the content creators in this video. He acts like anyone who doesn't bother to listen to him can't take advice or criticism. But that's not even the worst part, because the conclusion he ultimately reaches is that we should aim to discuss what he wants to be discussed. And what does he want from the anime community? What he wants is the discourse to be at a lower level, which I can't in good conscience advocate for. He says in the video that we need less intellectual content and more thoughtful takes on thoughtless clickbait concepts, which is all well and good. I'm not against that type of content, but I don't see why more intelligent videos should be discouraged. Just because they aren't marketable? Some people are less interested in being marketable and more interested in putting out higher concept material regardless of how many views it gets, and cultivating their own niche who either gets what they're saying or is willing to listen to them. I don't see anything wrong with that type of content, it serves its own purpose. Especially since the examples he pinned against each other completely contradicted the point he was trying to make. The Asterisk War Sucks Part 1 has a significantly higher amount of views than 5 times I Felt the Power of Anime in 2016. I also dislike his implications that the only way good content can be successful is through clickbait titles and thumbnails, when the fact is that if you have a large amount of subscribers, there will be a sizable portion who will watch anything one makes, regardless of how marketable it is. And sometimes, just the topic matter is enough. If you're talking about My Hero Academia, Berserk, or JoJo, then that's guaranteed views. Furthermore, there's nothing preventing academic and intellectual videos from having titles and thumbnails that grab the audience and make them want to watch the content. Goat Jesus, for example, had a fantastic video comparing Fullmetal Alchemist and Brotherhood, which had academic and in-depth concepts the average viewer probably wouldn't understand. Yet, that's also one of his most popular videos. The title and premise feel very entry-level, yet the content was analytical. Here's why E-kon really wants less academic content. Because he doesn't like it, and he doesn't view it as worthwhile on YouTube. Because he doesn't respect the platform. In fact, I'm surprised that he even bothered making a YouTube video, considering the conversations I've had with him in the past. Not many are going to end up taking his advice on less intellectual content, and here's why. Number one, this is the very first time many probably have heard from this guy. He's by no means some well-renowned name in anime discourse. He talks down to his audience the entire video and treats them like mouth-breathing idiots who don't know any better, without any sense of self-awareness. He talks down to content creators and treats them like people who cannot listen to any sort of criticism levied against them, just because they may not want to take his own advice. And ultimately, as I've said, he doesn't respect the platform. So much so that he couldn't be bothered to make a video on his own channel about this topic. He had to use a more popular anime YouTuber's channel instead. It gives off the sense that he feels above the platforms he's using, that he thinks he's better than everyone else who's on YouTube, which is not a great way to get those who use the platform to be on your side. So personally, as a content creator, I cannot find myself ultimately taking his advice. I have no problem with the formula he suggests, but that's not the only thing I would like to make, and regardless of views or marketability, I just think there are some interesting topics worth bringing up. Furthermore, he has little respect for his audience, little sense of self-awareness about that fact, and can't be bothered to make his own channel to discuss this. I cannot tell you, the audience, what to do, but I suggest this. Don't be like E-kon. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, feel free to give it a like, and E-kon, I'll see you at Anime Expo.